Right guys, it's Finn here and welcome to my Spurs versus Chelsea combined 11 video where we'll be taking the best players from both teams and putting them into one squad. Now of course, Spurs versus Chelsea is a game that'll be happening this Premier League match weekend and there are definitely some fantastic players from both teams. So as I said in today's video, I'm going to be taking every team's best player, put them into one squad and let's see what we can build. Now of course, am I going to please everyone in this video? Most likely not. I will offend people. There are some tricky choices. I mean, there's Mendy versus Lloris, Jorginho versus Chilwell, Lukaku versus Harry Kane. There are some difficult decisions. I'm not going to please everyone, but it is always a fun video to make this kind of video. I hope it is a fun one to watch, and I want you guys to put down in the comment section down below, what is your prediction for the Spurs versus Chelsea game? Let me know who you think you'll win and what's your score prediction. But jumping into my combined starting 11, I am going to go for a 4-4-2 kind of formation. I am not going to start defense to attack or attack to defense in terms of revealing my players, and I'll explain why at the end of the video. But starting off on the left side of the pitch, left wing, I am going to go for the likes of Heung-min Son. Now of course the pick was either between him or Captain America Christian Pulisic, but I am going to go for Son. Nothing bad against Pulisic, but Heung-min Son has been at such a high level for such a long time. His numbers have been insane, goals and assists for years and years, and I just have to put him in my squad from the likes of Tottenham Hotspurs. In the left back position, I'm going to go for a Chelsea player in the likes of Ben Chilwell. Once again, a proper modern day fullback. I would describe him. Defensively, he does a solid job. Attacking wise, he is brilliant and he really fits perfectly into this Chelsea team. He is a brilliant left back on his day, and probably only competition is the likes of Jorginho, who arrived from La Liga to Spurs last season. I think he's been absolutely brilliant, but Chilwell, once again, just another level in my opinion. Going to the right side of the pitch, in the right wing position, I'm going to go for the likes of Lucas Moura. Now yes, I know that's probably going to upset one or two Chelsea fans, but at the end of the day, it's just purely because Chelsea don't play with kind of winger positions. They kind of play with their fullbacks, their left back and their right back, kind of in a right mid and left mid position. So it's really kind of how Chelsea play. I've obviously put an example on screen at the moment, as you guys can see. They don't actually play with wingers. I mean, from time to time, they'll have a right attacking midfielder or a left attacking midfielder with like a Mason Mount and a Kai Havertz. So purely because of that, default wise, Spurs would have the better right wing, and at the end of the day, Lucas Moura is heavily underrated. He is criminally underrated in terms of his numbers, in terms of how he plays. I feel like he can be such a threat for Tottenham Hotspurs. No, he doesn't have the highest numbers in the world, but I really do feel like he is such a strong player, and I feel like if Spurs did really well, I do feel like Lucas Moura could get his numbers up. I think he is a fantastic player. In the right back position, I've gone for the likes of Reece James, which, as I said, Chelsea kind of put their fullbacks in those higher attacking areas, which is why Reece James wasn't in my right midfield position. In terms of a right back, you could not get a more complete right back. In terms of attacking kind of right backs, if you wanted that for the England national team, you would go for Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you wanted a very defensive player, you would go for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But in terms of the complete fullback, you would go for Kyle Walker or Reece James. Reece James is a brilliant player. He's been fantastic for Chelsea so far this season, and I have to put him there. In terms of competition, I wouldn't even go for a Spurs right back. I would go for the likes of Azpilicueta, who is a legendary just Premier League defender overall, can play absolutely anywhere in that defensive back line. But as I said, Reece James is just a completely different animal. Now moving on to my kind of midfield position. Now once again, yes, I am going to upset Chelsea fans here, but I've gone for the likes of N'Golo Kante. Once again, don't know if I have to explain that one too much. He is the best defensive midfielder in the entire world, and there's absolutely no one in the world who doesn't like N'Golo Kante. I mean, I've heard people argue before that he can never be the best midfielder in the world because he doesn't score enough goals, which, I mean, if that is your excuse for not liking N'Golo Kante, you do not love football. It is as simple as that. Best defensive midfielder in the world, was man of the match in the quarterfinals, semi-finals and the final of the Champions League last season. Absolutely undefeatable in my opinion. The other midfielder, on the other hand, I've gone for the likes of Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg. I think he is an absolutely fantastic player. Now, I know I am going to upset Chelsea fans because I haven't put the likes of Jorginho in that position. Don't get me wrong, I think Jorginho is a fantastic player. I've heard people though say that they think he should be in the top 10 for the Ballon d'Or this year or even win it. Look, I think he's a great player. He was brilliant at the Euros. He was brilliant for Chelsea last season. But at the end of the day, I feel like Højbjerg has more of an impact on his team. I feel like if Spurs didn't have him in the midfield, they would struggle a lot more than if Chelsea lost the likes of Jorginho. As I said, Jorginho is a fantastic player, but I personally feel like Højbjerg has a bigger impact on his team. I feel like individually he helps his team a lot more. So because of that, once again, nothing bad against Jorginho, but I'm gone for the likes of Højbjerg, and I kind of want to get the most players from each team in this. So putting forward this combined starting 11, I'm not necessarily going to have the best team overall, but I've kind of put forward a team and a formation with the most players from each team, from both Spurs and Chelsea, if that makes sense. Going on to the striker positions, 2 strikers, it is going to be obvious. It is going to be Romelu Lukaku and Harry Kane, obviously a striker from each side. Romelu Lukaku has had a fantastic start at Chelsea, scoring 2 goals in his previous game. He is looking unbeatable. I think he will be the Golden Boot winner this Premier League season. He is looking that unbeatable. Last season, the only player to score more than him in the Serie A was Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, he's just been such a beast. And for Chelsea, he will definitely score a lot of goals. Definitely at least 20 goals a season. Other striker, as I said, Harry Kane. Now, this is kind of a starting 11, which if I had to play it right now, I would choose. And yes, although he hasn't been brilliant so far this season, there's been a lot of controversy around him. Once again, top goal scorer and assist maker in the Premier League last season. He is a fantastic player. He's always been known to kind of start off slow in the Premier League. That's why he hasn't had a lot of goals so far. But trust me, the time will come. He will start scoring goals again. And if you could have Harry Kane and Lukaku up front together, working in a striking partnership, that would be deadly. Now moving on to my back two, my 2 centre backs, between my obviously right back and left back. I've gone for the likes of Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. Now, these 2 centre-backs are absolutely fantastic. And that's kind of why I've worked kind of from the outsides to the insides of my team, as opposed to kind of unveiling them from defence to attack. Is because I know Spurs fans will get upset if I put a totally Chelsea defence at the back. But at the end of the day, Chelsea have one of the best defences in the entire world. Obviously, Thiago Silva has built such a reputation for himself, being one of the best centre-backs in the entire world for the last 15 years or so, was brilliant at PSG, has been brilliant at Chelsea. Yes, maybe he was weak last season in that game versus West Brom where Chelsea were absolutely thrashed. But on his day is a brilliant centre-back. When he is match fit, he can win a lot as a centre-back. Absolutely brilliant on his day. It's a really no-brainer that he had to be in my squad. The other centre-back, as I said, I'm going to go for the likes of Antonio Rudiger. The other competition, in my opinion, might have been Christian Romero from Spurs. I thought he was okay individually versus Crystal Palace, although Spurs lost. I don't think he's a bad centre-back. I just want to see a tiny bit more from him at the top level before I put down that he is an absolutely unstoppable centre-back. But Antonio Rudiger, not a bad option. He's very fast as a centre-back, very strong as a centre-back. He's actually very reliable, and over the last 2-3 years, he has picked up immensely. Hasn't been bad for Chelsea over the last few years, and I just feel like he has to be in the best combined starting 11 between these 2 teams. There's no other real competition. I mean, I could have put Eric Dyer, but I just don't rate him that high as a centre-back. Now getting into the final position, the goalkeeper position. It's tricky looking at Hugo Lloris. He's been at Tottenham Hotspur for over 10 years now. He is a World Cup winning captain, but looking at Mendy over the last year or 2, what he has done to his career has been immense. Only conceded about 4 goals in the Champions League last season, was voted the UEFA Goalkeeper of the Year. He is so unstoppable. So look at these 2 goalkeepers together. It is really tough, to be honest with you, but I'll explain my answer very shortly. But the goalkeeper I'm going for is the likes of Mendy. As I said, Lloris has had a better career as a whole, but I'm kind of building the squad too. If I had to put forward a starting 11 right now, I would go for that player. And to be honest with you, I probably like my bet of or my chances of keeping a clean sheet better if I had Mendy over Lloris. As I said, Lloris, fantastic goalkeeper, has had a brilliant start to this Premier League season in terms of clean sheets, but Mendy is just on another level over the last year or 2. As I said, in terms of clean sheets, in terms of stopping the ball, he has changed Chelsea completely in terms of that goalkeeper position. I feel like he is a world-class goalkeeper, and that is why I have to put him in that position. It's tricky to choose him over Lloris, but that is what I've done. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my combined starting 11 of Chelsea and Spurs players. As I said, that's kind of why I started on the wide areas and worked my way inwards, is because I didn't want to start off by just revealing a totally 5 at the back Chelsea defense with the goalkeeper and defenders, because I know Spurs players would have clicked off immediately. But you know what? I'm pretty happy with that starting 11. I want you guys to tell me in the comment section down below, how well do you think this team would do in the Premier League? Do you think it's good enough to win the Premier League? And I know all the Chelsea fans at home are going to say, oh, but Finn, you just need to take out the Spurs players and put Chelsea players there and they will win the Premier League. You know what? At the end of the day, I tried to put as many players from both teams there. I think it is a very strong looking team. As I said, Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, it hurts me not to put them in there, but I don't have any attacking midfielders in this team. That is why they're not there. Obviously, Mason Mount I could have put in the left mid position, but obviously Heung-min Son is there. But if I had attacking midfielders, I would have put them there. I think Mason Mount, honestly, is one of the best attacking midfielders in the league. But as I said, I don't have those positions in my team, so I couldn't put them there. Once again, Jorginho, individually, he is brilliant, but I just think Højbjerg has helped his team a lot more. This team is so strong. I'm relatively happy with it. Guys, I hope you do end up enjoying the game. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure that you are subscribed down below for more content like this. And of course, do like it as well. Could we please get this video to 20 likes? But Spurs versus Chelsea, it's going to be a tough game, but we'll have to see what happens. Guys, this has been Finn, FYNN. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.